Greetings, all you Jackson Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's time for the flagship Steelers talk. I don't want to do it though, but someone's got to. Gingy, Laskers, solemn week. You guys want to break down what the hell happened in Kansas City?
Not really. Mutant Gingy in the house. Let's go, folks. Last week, from start to finish, they're outplayed, Donkey.
Yeah. Shows how far we are away from being a legit competitor, Laskers.
A great team.
So I know I watched that whole game, but I really can't remember any of it, except for, Mason actually looked kind of decent out there at the end of the game, but, a little too late from us.
What I remember is nobody tackling, Terrell Edmonds running out of bounds, every receiver who wanted to catch the ball. I mean, the Chiefs were without Kelsey, and they looked better than they did with Kelsey, so I guess that should tell you all you need to know about the game. Oh, yeah, and then on offense, I think we finally scored a point when we were down 30, I think. I don't remember. Was it 30? Did they get to 30 before we scored?
Yes.
That was one of the low points for me. Yes, they did. It was I believe it was
close.
30-0, wasn't it?
It was 27 or 30. I can't really tell.
One of the two, when we went for, I don't know if I texted you during the game or afterwards, when we went for fourth down and there was a false start, and we decided to then kick a field goal on 4th and 15, being down 27 or 30. I was looking at the screen and I was like, fucking really? Donkey.
We false started so we wouldn't embarrass ourselves by pitching the ball outside on 4th and 1 or throwing another fucking ill-advised screen pass that goes for -3 yards. We were saving ourselves the humiliation out there. But hey, there was a bright side. Some random guy that Laskers is going to give you the name to came out of nowhere and averaged 60.5 yards a punt. Laskers, who was that again?
You expect me to pronounce his first name?
I don't know what his name is.
Waitman?
Corliss Waitman. All right, let's go with that. He was out there and balling. I'm not sure anyone else was. Was Najee Harris's average for yards per carry in the first half under a yard? Like, was that where we were? Were we that good?
I don't know. I know what we ended with.
Yeah, but the second half, man, he got all those garbage yards. Like, this is the best garbage team I've ever seen in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the fact that when we get to garbage time, we actually make it a game more often than we should. But, Gingy, there's one really concerning point I want to bring up. You go 2 weeks ago, probably the player of the game with the most man catches I've seen was James Washington, right?
I'd say so, yep.
James Washington this week doesn't see the field, but I believe for 20% of the snaps, because we're going to feature as our new #1 most targeted receiver, Ray frickin' McLeod? Like, are you serious, Gingy? Are you serious with me right now?
He must be showing the coaching staff something in practice, Donkey. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, those knee pads are getting worn out, that's for sure.
Disrespectful during the holiday season, Donkey.
Making me watch that whole football game was disrespectful. The best thing ABC did was turn to the other game that was more competitive because one team was taking a knee to end the game. I joke you not. That's how it was displayed as, we're now going to switch you to a more competitive football game for your viewing pleasure. And it was the Carolina game or something, but the team was taking a knee when they switched to the game. That's the definition of more competitive than Steelers football right now, Laskers.
That's pretty funny. I mean, I don't know if that's more competitive, but it's pretty funny.
Gingy, the positive, I guess, is the Steelers are still in the playoff hunt, right? And this is a completely wasted season if they don't make the playoffs. So let's figure out something and get it right. But what can you say about that Kansas City game? From play calling to execution to what's missing with this team? Offensive, defensive? Is it just bad players? Is it bad coaching? What is going on here?
I think they got outcoached by Andy Reid and that staff. I mean, I think the entire game plan that the Chiefs wanted to execute looked brilliantly on display from start to finish. They had very little resistance from what they wanted to do. They wanted to get out fast, get a quick lead, which is very easy to do versus Steelers, and never look back. You know what I mean? It's almost like they were waiting for that classic Steelers storm to come in. You know, we're like over maybe the last 3-4 weeks, it feels like we've been like able to almost surprise teams with that. Like the Vikings. The Vikings felt surprised by that flourish at the end. Kansas City didn't seem surprised about nothing. Kansas City didn't seem surprised about nothing that whole game, about what we were doing. Not surprised at all.
All right, everybody, if my stream ends and goes crazy, it's not my fault. There's really high winds. My power's flickering. Just, if I lose power, y'all wish I get it back so I don't freeze my butt off. That's all I have to say. Laskers, there's one play I want to describe, and you tell me if this isn't the Steelers season in a nutshell. So I believe it's a 3rd and 5. The Steelers set up a double screen where the primary screens to go to the left side, secondary screens to the right side. So in other words, they leave one blocker on the right side. The right side has 4 defenders against this one blocker. The left side, where we put our offensive linemen to run the screen pass, has 4 blockers and 2 defenders. I'll give you one guess on which way Ben threw the football. Yeah, he threw it right.
I was going to say, I guarantee he threw it right. I mean, do we know how to throw a screenplay correctly?
Yeah, but the worst part is half the time we don't block it when we actually throw it to the right point. I don't know. It's getting hard to watch this offense, Gingy. I mean, first half, when was the last time? What do we have now? 9 points in our last 10 first halves or something? How? And I have to assume, because Tomlin has said he'd be foolish not to let Ben be in play design. He's been saying that for 2 years. I have to assume Ben is partially to blame here because he's designing a lot of these plays they're starting the game off with, right?
I'm not sure, Donkey. I mean, we know the problems that the Steelers have at offensive line. I'm not sure how much of the play design is designed to try to mask those weaknesses or support them, and it's not working, or whether the play design itself is the actual manipulative flaw there.
I hear you on that. I want to get more into this offensive line because everybody knows we got blown out by the Chiefs. It is what it is. We'll cover other fun things later. But I do agree, and I think the GM is the most responsible person for this season because I feel if we built just even a mediocre offensive line, the way this division is, the way the AFC is, we could be the 2 or 3 seed in the AFC if we just had an offensive line that could create the ability to be a run-first football team. But we're not there. We're at this point where we have to be a quick pass football team. You need a mobile quarterback or a guy who's good at finding those windows to do that. That's not Ben Roethlisberger. We knew that coming in. The GM's to blame for this because I'm going to play a fun game that shows exactly why I feel this game. We're going to play a game called All-Pro, Starter, Fringe, which means he's a fringe starter, bench player, roster guy. In other words, just a guy who can make a roster because, you know, he exists. And we're going to play this based solely on our 5 offensive linemen. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to name an offensive lineman. Then I want Gingy to say where he fits and Laskers to say where he fits. Because this should be fun. Let's start at left tackle with Dan Moore Jr. Gingy, where does he fit?
A lot of these guys are so young, Donkey. It's going to be really tough to project. If we're looking at right now,
yeah, right roster. Now. So if you want to say roster. He's a projection guy, he's a roster guy. Okay, I got you. I can feel that. Laskers?
I'm going to say practice squad.
Ooh. Laskers added his own category, and I love it. We'll put that in there too. Practice squad. All right, let's go to left guard. Do we want to call left guard Dotson because he was supposed to be the starter? So we'll play fair there. Let's go Dotson. Gingy, what you feeling?
That's a fringe guy.
Fringe guy, all right. Laskers, what you feeling?
I'm gonna go roster.
He's a roster guy. He's actually a starter for me. I don't mind him as a starter one there. And if you're curious, I'm going to take Lasker's things and put practice squad for Dan Moore Jr. because I like that. Let's go center. How about Mr. We knew this is who we wanted. That's why we didn't address the need earlier in the draft. Kendrick Green. Gingy?
Practice squad.
Laskers?
Fired.
Another new category.
He got to be developed. We got to see if there's
I'm going to give him
there.
a chance, and I'm going to say practice squad, because anyone who can bench or squat 700 pounds, whichever one it is, deserves a little bit of a chance, in my opinion. Let's go to right guard, our creme de la creme signing, because he actually got paid more than Gingy's boy, I can't think of his name, BJ Finney, who should be our starting center, neither here nor there. Trey Turner. Gingy, where's he fit?
Oh, boy. He's bad, Donkey. He's a roster guy.
He literally is our best lineman right now.
The roster
So
guy.
that makes you feel good. All right. I can feel that. Laskers?
Fringe.
I have him as a fringe as well. All right. Let's go to right tackle to our best pass blocker, but, man, if he could push a bucket forward, I'd be surprised. Chuck Okorafor. Gingy, where's he fit for you?
That's a starter.
Nice. Laskers?
I'm gonna have to go starter too, just because we do like to throw the ball.
I call him a fringe guy because, yes, he does have one skill set that's good, but you draft a first-round running back, you better be able to run the football. All right, so the point of this exercise was to point out that no one had more than one starter on their whole list of players of us. Laskers was the nicest. He had 2 fringe guys and a starter. I guess I had 2 fringe guys and a starter. Gingy's killing people. He only had 1 fringe guy and 1 starter, but at least he didn't fire anyone. The point we're trying to make here is, can we really evaluate anyone this season if the offensive line is this bad? Like, when you're talking,
Hell no.
No one in the world thinks any of these guys belong on NFL teams. Can you really evaluate whether this was Ben's fault or play calling's fault or talent fault? Because, well, clearly it's talent fault, but it's at the offensive line. Like, how do you evaluate a team when you can't even see the plays happen? Like, I believe, was there a play we tried to run a fake reverse and Ben just got the ball slapped out of his hand before he even faked the reverse? Like, that happened this game, right?
I think so.
Anyone actually remember anything about the game?
Nope, blocked it all out. Too
painful.
dazed on Christmas cookies and nog donkey.
Gingy had the rum.
Good thing.
I did. I mean, we were having some nog. It was very cheerful, festive spirit, and more around continued to dive into that as that game continued forward.
I don't blame you. It was a smart thing to do. I don't even know what to say about this game because it was just bad on so many fronts. If you guys have anything you want to add, Laskers, I'll let you go first. If not, say Gingy, and then we'll see if Gingy has anything. Otherwise, we can move on.
Hey, at least Najee had a lot of garbage time carries and average 4.9. Gingy to you.
Kansas City's scary. They're looking really
Yes,
strong,
they
and P. Mahomes is. Everybody was on that ride, the P. Mahomes hate train. Oh my! Look at all them saps turned now. Like holy smokes, they are.
I told you from the get-go, he was turning the ball over way too much. He stopped turning the ball over. That defense showed up, and look at that team.
And that's it. They went and they turned back into what they were last year.
Less
turnovers, more defense.
You actually brought up a point that I really, really like. How the hell are we wasting carries on our running back in a game we're down 30 points on a rookie running back who's never touched the ball this much? I think he leads the NFL in touches. Why the hell is he in there down 30 points, putting mileage on his legs, risking injury in a season we still have a chance to make the playoffs, Gingy? Seriously?
He's nuts. Basically, and in a nutshell, that's what I think. It's that. I think it's a lot of Ben's culture is that man, get it done. As you can see, down 30. Who was still in there? Starting quarterback, right?
Yeah, because he gets to overrule the coach.
That's the type of tempo that he sets on that team, and that may or may not behoove you necessarily from a roster strategic standpoint. But
Hey,
that's the tone that he sets. He's not coming out.
All I'm saying is I watched probably the best Steelers team die because we ran the legs off of Le'Veon Bell within 4 seasons. I certainly don't want to see us run the legs off of Najee in a season that doesn't matter because we're at least a year or two rebuild probably after this year to get competitive again. So you're telling me if it's 4 years, that means we're going to run Najee's legs off by the time we have our first competitive team? That just seems stupid.
Hey, he's 29 carries behind the leading carry person.
Well, I think Donkey, that puts a clear window for the Steelers at 2024 for the Super Bowl.
Hey, Gingy just looked into his crystal ball. All you people mark it down this date. 1/1 of 2022 still for me. Gingy says 2024 season. Look out for
Super
your
Bowl.
Pittsburgh Steelers, all right?
That's coming. It's coming,
I like
baby.
it. All right, so we have another AFC game that's kind of important going on this week. I believe if the Bengals win, they win the division, question mark? Or maybe they don't if Cleveland wins. But the Bengals have a chance to really put their stamp on the AFC North this week playing the Baltimore Ravens. What you guys see going on in that game?
They don't play the Baltimore Ravens this week.
I think they play Kansas City this week.
Oh, you're right. They play Kansas City. I don't know why I thought they played each other. They
played Baltimore the last week.
No, we played Baltimore last week. They played Cleveland.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you're right. They already played Baltimore.
For some reason, I thought we all ended in a division thing. And Denzel Ward with a pick six.
Because I know that all the Yinzers have probably already heard and hated. This is the first year in fucking a millennia that the Bengals have swept the Ravens and the Steelers.
I didn't even.
Did you know that, Donkey?
No.
It's the first time in like my lifetime that's happened.
It's very believable because both the Steelers and Ravens have been good the whole time since the Ravens have become the Ravens. So yeah, I believe it. Hey, you know what? Hats off to 500-yard last week, Joe Burrow. Good for you, kid. That team is scary looking. Hopefully, the Steelers can get to that level in a couple years. Maybe this year, maybe next year. Who knows? So anyway, let's start with the game that is actually happening. Bengals Chiefs. What are you guys seeing?
Donkey, I don't know how you can predict anything, but, Chiefs maintain a stride. At this point, though, you got to look at where's everybody starting falling in their division. AFC, is anybody resting guys? I don't think anybody's in that dominant of a position in the AFC, are they, Donkey?
Chiefs, if they win this week and Tennessee loses, clinches home field. So no one has anything clinched yet except for maybe the Chiefs have the division clinched, but I'm not even sure about that because it could be they lose out, Chargers win out, they don't.
So I'm saying Chiefs by 7.
I like that. Laskers?
Dang it, Gingy. I was going to go Chiefs by 7.
Well,
I'll stick with mine.
All right, I'll just make it a trifecta.
And
but
by the way, the Chiefs did clinch their division.
Okay, I wasn't sure with the Chargers how that worked, but I guess the Chargers did lose last week, didn't they? Chiefs by 4, although I'm not really sure about that because who knows? It's Cincinnati, so Cincy's either going to win by 10 or lose by 25. But it just seems logical to say Chiefs by 4. So then who the hell does Baltimore play? Because clearly I'm out of the loop.
The Rams.
Ooh, fun one. Baltimore Rams! Laskers, lead it off.
I'm going Rams by 13.
All right. Gingy?
Who's the home team? Anybody got one?
Ravens are.
I think we're going to see another one of these stupid games. These stupid Raven games where you see balls bouncing and people jumping and stuff. I don't know.
You think they got their crystal ball out again?
Thinking-
The horseshoes are wild.
Thinking Ravens by 3.
I got the Ravens by 2, Gingy, so I like it. I think Tucker hits a 45-yard game.
Yeah. So I see something stupid happening and making it real dramatic.
I
for the
really
Steelers
think
game of the
Stafford
season.
throws a pick 6 in the fourth quarter.
I don't disagree with you. On paper, that shouldn't be a question. The Ravens are looking like, they're falling
Bad.
off the world the last few weeks.
Bad.
But, I think, again, it's not always about the stats on the paper, Donkey. It's about sort of them vibes in the air, man.
The luckiest team in the world, if you look at the Ravens, they really should be they should be a 5-win team right now outside of miracles. But that's a team much like the Steelers. It shows what happens when you lose a premier pass rusher. They lose Matthew Judon going to New England, and that defense just doesn't look good. They haven't been able to get pressure the way the Ravens always do, and it's really biting them because they can't compete with some of those better teams, and they're much like the Steelers. They've played a lot of bad teams really, really close and pulled off some fancy wins. And then when they play some good teams, they just don't necessarily seem up to snub. But this week, we got 2 teams who a lot of people would say are underperforming. But honestly, I told you last year, watch out for the Browns because they have a last place schedule. This year, it's, hey, guess what happens when you actually have to play with a top schedule rather than a last place schedule? Though, are they playing with a third place schedule? Is that where they finished last year? 3rd in the division? So they still aren't up there. But the Bengals last place schedule. Watch out for it. So we got Cleveland this week. We know Baker Mayfield's hurt. I don't know if Kareem Hunt's going to play. I know he's been limited with that ankle. But they are for sure missing their nickel corner and their 2 safeties are all out. Josh Johnson, Troy Hill, Rodney Harrison Jr., all missing this game on the back end for the Browns. Laskers, can the Steelers take advantage?
I certainly hope that we can. It's still going to be close, and it's still a question if Kareem Hunt is actually going to play, by the way.
Figured he'll probably be a game time decision since it's a Monday game, not a Sunday game for all you viewers out there. And I know I'm really confused because of my holidays, weeks off, kids being home every day. And I'm just, woo!
What day is it again?
It's currently Saturday for me, so
It's Sunday for us, Gingy.
I don't know what to say.
Eastern Standard Time.
Gingy, can you see the offense being able to take advantage of the lack of secondary for the Browns right now? I mean, we are probably getting Freiermuth back.
Donkey, I only feel
Get there?
I feel like this stage sets the scene, Donkey, for shooters to shoot. All right, we've already heard the news. Ben Roethlisberger inviting friends and family, talking about possible last game at Heinz Field, barring any playoff miracles.
1 year
where you
late,
get
but
one
at least
there.
it's against the same team.
Barring any miracles in that department, with a weakened secondary, Ben Roethlisberger throws for 40 times this game, Donkey, and he's either going to do it or he's not.
But you really want to have Myles Garrett
That's how
having
it's gonna
40
go.
pass rushes against Dan Moore?
That's how it's going to go. Najee, you better pick up your blitz coverage, brother. You better study this week heavy.
I don't know what to say about this because you look at all the
That's
things.
what's going to happen.
You
I
look at
can't
the
tell you whether it's
fact.
going to be good or not.
You look at the fact that the Browns are an underachieving football team. You look at the fact that the Steelers are achieving right where everyone probably expected. You look at the fact that the Browns are missing so many starters. You look at the fact that the Steelers are getting people back. Everything points to I should feel a lot more confident than I do with our offense against their defense. I don't know what it is. I have a weird feeling Denzel Ward is going to get, I don't know, much like he did in the playoff game, some early momentum for the Browns. And I don't know if the Steelers can overcome another slow start because, let's be honest, they haven't had a fast one in a long time. But that brings us to the other side of the ball. And this is where this defensive line needs to step up. The Cleveland Browns are not going to do what they did in the first matchup, which is let Baker Mayfield lose them the football game. Right, Laskers?
I would hope that they don't try to achieve that same thing, but in the same point, I do hope that they let him try to do that.
Gingy, we had this conversation and it always leads to one thing. Make Baker have to throw the ball. Can the Steelers defense do it? And if so, how?
Running right, throwing left, pick six. That's the name of the game for that boy. You know how they have to do it is the same formula we've talked about all season. The pass rush, the splash plays. Gonna have to see a turnover.
Are we going to actually...
Chubb doesn't put the ball on the ground very often.
With Isaiah Buggs getting called off the COVID / injured / whatever the hell's gone on with him since Week 12 list, are we going to actually see the Steelers play 3 down linemen and commit to trying to stop the run? Or are we going to see 2 down linemen again and let Cleveland run for 200 yards just like every other team since Week 8 has done against us?
I mean, I hope not, Donkey. We know this is what they're going to do. This is what Cleveland has predicated themselves on all season.
Also,
if there's ever a time to design against this scheme, it is now.
Honest question, should the Steelers be concerned that Devin Bush has yet to come off the COVID list and Joe Schobert just got added to the COVID list along with Chris Wormley? Should we be concerned that we can't stop the run and some of our, well, what should be our best run stoppers aren't going to be there?
Yes. Very concerned. Not much to say there, Donkey. Aren't you?
No, and the only reason I'm not concerned is because this team has just sent me into this sense of I don't know what the hell's going to happen. They could have every starter and give up 200 yards the next week, play all backups, and somehow force 7 turnovers all by Ahkello Witherspoon. I don't know what the hell to expect at this point. All I know is I wish we had big-ass Dan McCullers still just to stick in there, because at least he's big. But no, he's over playing in Chicago with frickin' Artie Burns. And Jesse James, for anyone who's curious about ex-Steelers playing in Chicago. Not a tangent I planned on going on today. Laskers, I want a full in-depth breakdown of how the Steelers are going to win offensively and or lose, how the Steelers are going to win or lose defensively, and your prediction. So I want a breakdown including your X factors and a prediction at the end. Lead us to what is hopefully the first of a happy new 2022. New year, new Steelers. Let's go.
New year, new Steelers. I think it's going to come down to can we actually throw the ball somewhat, and will Deontay show up and, torch their defense that's hurt? I really wanted to say Najee, but I don't think we need to run the ball. I think we need to, Ben's going to come out and throw, let's say 5 touchdowns. He's gonna show up for his last game at Heinz Field, and make sure that he goes out in style.
I can dig it.
Defense-wise, we gotta get to Baker. I mean, that's a big thing. It has to happen. And my X factor on defense, I think, is going to be Cam Hayward. I think the big man's going to get in there and, light him up a few times.
That would be good to see. And prediction for how this game goes.
Uh, 42-32.
Did you say 42-32?
Explosion!
Holy
Hey,
fuck!
just
I don't
said
have enough
Ben was
beer
gonna
in my
throw for
fridge for
5
that shit.
touchdowns. I just said Ben was going to throw for 5 touchdowns. That's 35 points right there.
Explosion.
Here's the hope, and my goodness gracious, I need to drink a whole another 12 pack after that. I hope you're right, though. I'd love to see that. Gingy, I know you want to break down how emotions are going to change this game, how that's going to be. So I'd love to hear same kind of analysis. Break this game down, break down what leads to it, and break down your final score.
I'd love to, Donkey. What we're talking about, I think, is Ben Roethlisberger is going to come out and steal the show. That is what I think the narrative is going to be. I think that's what he's going to be looking to do. The Steelers traditionally perform well. Monday night game, big game. I think that locker room is going to be hype. I think that fan base is going to be real hype. I think that stirred up terrible towel wave. You're going to be dizzy looking at that if you're there. Overall, I think your X factor though is going to have to be your guys who are receiving that ball from Ben. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: the easy call would be to say, yeah, Ben's your X factor, and I think at the end of the day, typically he is on offense. But for the sake of parity here, I want to go with Pat Freiermuth as our X factor on offense. The kid, we've talked about it, Donkey, had some up and down moments over the season. You know, word in that locker room was that he was pretty darn upset about the drop a couple weeks ago. I'd like to see the kid bounce back, have a big game, a big sort of, career starting, solidifying game on a Monday night meaningful game in January. And I think that's going to be your key on offense. On defense, I think it's going to be sledding downhill. We cannot have a game where that opposite running back is averaging 7.5 a carry. We cannot have a game where Chubb goes for $180. The only way that we have that game, Donkey, and still come out with a dub is by forcing some turnovers or some major special teams. Okay, major special teams play. But I think your X factor on defense for the rest of the season, I think it's got to be TJ Watt. Looking at again, another easy cop-out. Yes, we can analyze stats all the way. I think that it's going to be this so-and-so matchup on this slot receiver, on this wide receiver number 3 versus this nickel corner. You know what I mean? Like, we could go into that, but, I think it's going to be the guy who really centers that franchise at this point. That guy who you paid over $100 million to. This is not an offensive-oriented franchise. I think moving forward, it's going to continue to be a defensive-oriented franchise around this guy. And he's got to show up in January if he is going to be that guy or the franchise. So here's what I'm calling, Donkey. I'm calling somewhat of an explosion myself. I'm thinking 34-27.
Jesus Christ,
Pittsburgh.
You guys love some points from two teams that can't score.
I
love
understand.
It. I love it. I hope to see it.
And again, I do like going with the stats on a lot of games, but I feel like these division games, if you're looking at them in any division, whether it's the Steelers or the Browns, or whether it's the Bills and the Patriots, or whether it's the Colts and Titans, those games sometimes you just can't pick by the numbers.
Gingy
you know what I mean?
Gingy likes to call things called, what are we calling them? Snot knockers, right?
The snot knockers, where
Well,
where you hit the guy in the mouth and it changes how he plays the next play.
One person here is gonna feel this game as a snot knocker, and I'm gonna break it down to you real easy. I think the offensive X factor, because you know what? I think this is gonna be a weird game. I think it's going to be Derek Watt scores a touchdown. And the reason this is important is when you get to the final score I'm going to get to. And this is why Derek Watt scoring a touchdown becomes important. But offensively, you can't sell me that this is any different than last time Ben played the Browns at Pittsburgh. The playoff game, everything's on the line. The season's on the line. I just don't feel like... I think Ben's going to try to do too much. I think Ben's going to struggle. I think that defense is going to get to him. I think Denzel Ward sets the pace early for the Browns. I said that. I still feel that way. What I think becomes the difference is Baker Mayfield, whether it's due to injury or whatever, I don't think he can get it done. I think the Browns are going to have a bunch of yards running. I really do. And I think we're going to realize the biggest thing that the Steelers had going for them in the first matchup was Donovan Peoples-Jones did not play for the Browns. That is the type of receiver who is built to kill the Steelers. It's much like when I talked about Cincinnati and I talked about T. Higgins. There are certain guys who just kill the Steelers, and they're guys who can run a multitude of routes from the slot, whether it be Wes Welkers, Danny Amendolas, better versions of T. Higgins, Chris Henry type guys. A guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones for the Browns. I think the Steelers are going to struggle with it. I think the X factor on offense, like I said, Derek Watt. Defense, I think the X factor is stopping Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't think you can let him go. I don't think the Steelers are going to have a good time stopping the run, but I feel like they'll stop him in the red zone, and I feel the Steelers win this game 16-15 as Baker Mayfield can't finish any of the drives in the red zone. The Browns kick 5 field goals. End of the game, about 1:20 left. We hit a little whoopsie-doo screen pass to Derek Watt for a 25-yard touchdown to go up with 2 minutes to go. And Baker just throws that killer interception to Minka on the last drive. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I honest to God really feel like the Browns win. But you know what? I'm going with the Steelers just like I did in the playoff game. I'm going to hope against all my thoughts, and I'm going to say Steelers win. Although this time not in a blowout. I'm going to take a Gingy snot knocker, an old school AFC North football game where there are more runs than passes, gents. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be 55-45 runs to passes over the game. I'm not going to say why it's that way or which team does all the running. But I think a 1-point win for the Steelers bodes very, very well for the playoff hopes. And at this point, I don't want a wasted season. I'd like to see at least a playoff game, even if it means an ass kicking. So it has to start this week, right?
Let's go.
Feel free to criticize it, Laskers. I know you guys all are feeling the explosion in the Ben love. How dare Donkey be such a Debbie Downer on what could be the last of a Hall of Fame career at Heinz Field? I know. I will drink my Rolling Rock if it makes it any better. I guess it's not.
You ain't
Yeah,
got
you're
your
Iron
Iron Parade.
I am not drinking no fucking Iron City.
Get ready, Donkey, because I'll tell you what, it might not be pretty right now, but I don't know what the future brings beyond this. Uncertain times.
Hopefully a good offensive line, but that's neither here nor there. So you guys have any other ending thoughts on what could be Big Ben, the Hall of Famer's last home game at Heinz Field?
Gingy needs to go to Giant Eagle and get some Iron City.
Let's go. Need some Iron City. Need myself some good dip. Get fired up, because I'll tell you, like I said, it's gonna be a reflection for me personally, Donkey. Ben's my guy. You know what I mean? It's been through most of my football career and life, he has been the dude there for better or for worse, and have a lot of fond memories.
I don't know, dude. I got a ride or die with Mike Tomczak and Bubby Brister, right?
Good heavens. Ride or die. I think you're the first person ever in the history of the world to say ride or die Mike Tomczak, Bubby Brister. Ever.
Oh, shit. Hey, a lot of... it's better than Neil O'Donnell, right? I mean, come on.
No. Really, though, no.
All right.
Slash is where it's at. T-Gun Maddox, baby.
As I try to regroup myself here for Monday night, what will probably be the last of an era for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go to shout-outs and start with Laskers, because maybe he's composed.
My shout-out is, let's go defense. We need a big game from you this week. Otherwise, I think it's not going to be good. We need you to stop them on every down that you can.
If anyone heard Lasker's over my garage door about to blow off, I'm impressed. But he said defense.
I thought you were blowing into your mic. Is what I thought.
That's my
there.
garage door, and it is loud.
My shout out this week, Donkey, goes to Stephon Diggs telling the Patriots fans what over in Foxborough. He's just going to point, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up. That was brilliant. I love hearing that, especially after he scored a tut on him. I don't know. I love that type of football, Donkey, especially guys who perform, who back it up. You know what I mean? I don't like these guys who get, one first down when they're down by 40, start strutting around.
So you don't like Ray or Claypool?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to name no names, Donkey, but, that's the type of attitude that we're discussing. But when you drop a tut on somebody in their home field, I'm just going to tell you and you and you.
Who the hell was the dude for Carolina who did it twice when he was down a bunch last week? Robbie Anderson? Is that right? Is that the other one?
See, we ain't feeling that. Robbie Anderson been doing that for a minute.
Look where he came from.
New York Jets, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So if I got to end it with a shout out, I'm going to end it on the generational guy. And I know a lot of people will hate on a lot of things, saying there's a lot of wasted talent there. But it's Ben Roethlisberger. And don't y'all ever forget, outside of Tom Brady, there's not very many quarterbacks who ever had a better career with a team. I mean, he's done more for Pittsburgh than Peyton Manning did for the Colts, than Drew Brees did for the Saints. You want to name another quarterback? How about Aaron Rodgers for the Packers to this point? He's done more than, I believe, Brett Favre for the Packers. You got to love it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be his last home game, most likely. So I got to give a shout out there because I know it doesn't seem like it, because I do love Ben and I love everything Ben's ever meant for the Steelers. I'm just one of those cutthroat people who I'm like, I don't care what you meant for me. I care about what this team can do going forward. And that has nothing but respect for Ben. It doesn't mean any hate on Ben. I wish he comes out and wins this game and leads them to a playoff game. Let's be honest here, guys. We still have a good chance at that. So my shout-out's got to go to Ben. With that, I'll let you know. You can hate on us. You can love us. Let us know what you think. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Leave a, hey, I want to join the conversation at Your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. That's the YouTube channel. You catch me, Viking Donkey, on Xbox, Viking_Donkey on Twitch, Twitter. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know how the Daily Dose has been going. Let us know what you would like to see the Steelers talk evolve into. And without further ado, Laskers to Gingy to let you know how to reach them.
You can find me everywhere at Laskers, and this is a big game. We got to win this one. As a Steelers fan, wave them if you got them. Gingy, to you.
Woo! We muting Gingy. We hanging out. We playing Xbox Live. We talking football with the boys. That's what we talking about. We're going into January football, people. This might be Ben Roethlisberger's last game at Heinz Field. Oh, mama, I'm in fear from my life, from the long arm of the law. Boom, 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 boom. Steelers Nation, get fired up. It's AFC North football. Is it going to be playoffs? Is it not going to be? This game is going to be a big determinant in that. So everybody, wave them if you got them. Let's go Steelers.